What's up, Hoopers? Rob Pelinka has come out and he has delivered his plan for what he's going to do for Russell Westbrook. Now, this plan still includes trying to move off of the veteran player and his massive contract to try and bring in some shooters for LeBron James, for Anthony Davis, and let's just say for the Lakers in general. But do these plans either help the Lakers or is it going to be a massive failure? This is a big gamble what he's deciding to do and what his plan is. So what we're going to do is break down his plan. We're going to discuss it, and then with his plan and having a set date of when he wants to move off of Russell Westbrook, we got to go in and look at some of these games to see if the Lakers can even be a viable contender at the end or if they just wash this season up. So this is going to be a can't miss video about the truth behind the Russell Westbrook trade. I am the NBA white guy. I talk all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And if you love that kind of content, then make sure you dunk that like button and make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss a thing. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the exact quote from Rob Pelinka and what he said about Russell Westbrook. It's apparent that he still wants to move off of him. And here's just some realizations before I get to that quote and also reveal the amount of games that the Lakers are going to have to play with Russell Westbrook. I just want to discuss a few things that I noticed. There are some major factors that need to be addressed. Number one, the chemistry issues with Russell Westbrook and the rest of the team is not really whether they're getting along or not. It is just strictly with the meshing on a basketball court. Have you noticed a lot of times when Russell Westbrook even drives to the hoop, he is really trying too hard. He's spinning and falling down, and even when he tries to drop off a pass to somebody, it's usually over their head or at their feet, and it's because he doesn't have complementary players. So this is why we're seeing Russell Westbrook really struggle with the Lakers, is that he doesn't have the type of players that he's used to having around him, which is knockdown shooters. Now, who else doesn't? LeBron James. LeBron James and Russell Westbrook are made for shooters. If you're a shooter, they are a dream for you because they're going to draw a lot of attention to the middle and kick it out to you. Now, I watched game one and it was atrocious. You noticed all the time when LeBron James or Russell Westbrook had the ball, the defense would just corral in, and that's when Russell Westbrook would still put his head down, try and dribble drive, and the Warriors just stood there with their hands up and usually got a steal or he turned the ball over. But they're going to have to make a move. They're going to have to get some shooters and some supporting players. And here is what Rob Pelinka said. I'm told to expect Rob Pelinka and the Lakers to wait until post-Thanksgiving. That's 20 games into the season. And then see what teams might start pivoting who don't start off well, who may decide that they may start to unload players and get involved in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Now, obviously, this is for these teams to get down into the lottery instead of what we've seen in previous years where teams were racing and chasing to get into the play-in tournament. We're going to start seeing them using that 27 and 29 pick. And, of course, Russell Westbrook's expiring contract to see what's going to be out there on the marketplace. And as for more teams becoming sellers, there were so many buyers last couple years. The expectation is there will be even more sellers this year. You will start to see the asking price for trades go down. It's supply and demand. So expect the Lakers to really get to that 20-game point where teams kind of reach an inflection point and how they proceed, and then see what might really be available to help improve the Lakers team. Now, I actually just read another article of every NBA team and what their top 3 candidates or what their top 3 options are. And there's also some surprising players like a Grant Williams from the Celtics who was not extended by the Celtics. So that's telling a lot of the people over there in Boston that he's not in the plans for the future. This is a 6'6", 240-pound human who shot 41% from behind the arc. So for some reason, he's not fitting there, or they are planning some kind of big movement for his contract. But they got a lot of good players there. You never know. There's some viable players who could come up. And when you go a little bit deeper into the season, you may have some of these teams starting to really want to pull back the reins and tank. Now, the Jazz opened up game one and won that some B, but, you know, you're probably going to have them, or the Indiana Pacers for that matter, really try to move off. And the Detroit Pistons are super young. I don't think they're really title contenders. They still have Bogdanovich. It could have been a ploy for them to get him to try and get some picks out of somebody to continue to build that young, aggressive team. But what we got to do is decide, can the Lakers even be viable 20 games in? Are they going to be so far behind in their win-loss record that they cannot dig out of this? What we have to do is go through the first 20 games and see if they can win these things. But first, before we get to that, if you're loving this kind of content where I break down this from a hooper's perspective, make sure that you dunk that like button and you're subscribing so that you never miss a thing. All right, so here we can see the schedules of the Lakers, and we've already played a couple preseason games in game 1 as of I'm recording this. Tonight we got the Clippers Lakers. We'll see how that goes. So I'm not gonna really comment on that one right now, but let's just say they lose that one. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but they're 1-1. So the one thing that we know is that Pelinka is really waiting till the Thanksgiving time. So Thanksgiving is on the 24th. So we're looking around, this time right here is when they could possibly make a move. And also the NBA trade deadline is February 9th, 2023. So, we're looking around this time. So what we want to do is go back right here. We have the, November 30th. This would be, if we go to game 20, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So the Trailblazers would be the 20th game. So if we go to this game, which is November 30th, we got first up Clippers tonight, like I mentioned. We do have the Blazers coming up. I'm not going to go deep into like Vegas odds or anything, but just eyeball test. The Blazers are a scary team when you got a Dame Lillard who can shoot. We just noticed in game 1 when we played the Warriors, who are an incredibly good shooting team. They did terrible at the pick and roll at top, and they were not switching it. They were trying to play tough man, defense and get over the screen, and it just left wide open shooters or fouled. So that's the one thing. Whenever they play the Blazers, Dame time always lights them up, but I do think they can take or play with the Blazers. The Nuggets lost to the Jazz somehow, but I still think the Nuggets are a better team, and they play them again back-to-back. Let's say they split that. So we've got 2 games that they could win. Here's the 6th game. I think the Timberwolves, I think they can smack the Lakers. They're just so athletic, so big. So right here, we would be 2-4. Pelicans are looking unbelievably scary. I talked about them a couple videos ago, and obviously Zion coming out to help, but they just smacked the Nets. So that could be another loss. 2-5. We should be able to win against the Jazz. Here's the problem about the Lakers, though, and I've talked about this from a hooper's perspective, right? A lot of people don't get this. They just look at the Jazz and like, well, they're a terrible team. We'll beat them. You got to realize that the Jazz is full of young players right now, and they still have THT, who they traded for. They're going to give the Lakers 190% effort for 48 minutes. This is what I talk about constantly. The pressure to play against LeBron James is that every team you go against, they are wanting to go at the throat of LeBron. This is just how basketball works. When you play the best team, when you play the best players, you give them everything you got, because that's just their dream. They're playing against their idol they grew up watching, and so every night is a playoff game against the Lakers. So young teams like these, like the Jazz, they can sneak up. But I think the Lakers, they really, really should get those 2 wins that are back-to-back here. And then with the Cavs, it's going to be a great game. I think that the Cavs are still trying to fit and get things going. I think the Cavs could easily, win that game, but this is kind of a throw up in the air game. I'm not going to keep doing my rankings, but Clippers, everybody's high on these Clippers and winning the West and coming out of the West. Warriors are smack them, but I am super interested to see the game tonight. Kings, we should be able to beat the Kings again. It's another young team, and it's a hungry young coach, so just watch out on that. And they did beat the Lakers by 50 in the preseason, which was just ugly. This is going to be a fun game. Nets Lakers, I honestly think they're pretty evenly matched. They both just have like some stars and then not a lot of role players around them. The Pistons, really young players. Again, why I keep saying that, the young players, they terrify me because they don't have any injuries. They can run 1,000,000 miles an hour. They never get tired. They're going to be playing defense. I mean, they are just, it's like gnats at a barbecue, right? So just be, cautious. Spurs should be able to smack them. They're on tank mode. The Suns, I can't wait to watch this game. Lakers Suns is always a good rivalry, and anytime you have Chris Paul, the point guard, playing against, a Pat Beverly or even a Dennis Schroeder, should be back by then. Watch out. That's gonna be really fun to watch. Spurs win, Spurs win. I mean, look at that. Spurs, Spurs, Spurs. So that is really where they're going to be around the November time. So with all that, I'm kind of thinking a 50-50 split would be pretty positive. A 10-10 record, this is something they can work with. Last season they won, in the low 30s, and they almost made the play-in. So they got to get to that upper 30s, low 40s, and that can not only get them into the play-in tournament, but last season, 42 wins, I think it was, got into the 6th seed. So you were actually not even a play-in tournament player. So, you go to that just 500 record, you're at 42 wins. That's going to get you into the playoffs. And again, anybody here going to bet against LeBron James in the playoffs? I certainly am not. But here's what we have to think about and recognize the most important aspect. If Westbrook is going to stay a Laker for 20, 25 games, what do the Lakers have to do? Because if he is going to continue to get worse and worse and let this, the public get to him and let all the media get to him and him starting to get snarkier and snarkier and have more costly turnovers, and if he goes out of bounds one more freaking time, like, it's going to start causing major issues in the locker room and a division of these players. So I love, how hard he plays, but he's got to start realizing, hey, coming off the bench is not only good for the Lakers, but it's probably best for my career to go in there and show that I can still play and take a team so that after the season he can extend his career a little bit longer. Now, I need your guys' comments for a few different things, but first and foremost, what is the Lakers' biggest issue right now? Is it big men? Because if health is the number one problem that we see, plaguing the Lakers season with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, then we need to get some big men, because starting AD at the 5, he took a lot of falls and spills, in game 1. So we got to get a good big man. I was completely wrong on Damian Jones, and I will admit it. Damian Jones got no minutes. Thomas Bryant is hurt. This is going to be a problem. So in one of these trades, which I did in this video, I talked about actually a trade with the Spurs, and the Spurs are definitely tanking to get Vic. So that brings in Jakob Poeltl, who's an incredible cornerstone down there, and a young center, plus 2 big shooters. So make sure you go check out that video if you want to learn about that Spurs trade. And then you guys comment down below, if they're going to play 20 games before they trade Westbrook, what is their record? Is it 50-50? They're going to go 10-10. And this is not set in concrete. What are you hearing out there? What do you think they're truly going to do with Russell Westbrook in the trade? Make sure that you always comment down below. I always read your guys' comments. And make sure you subscribe so that you never miss any of my videos, because I am your NBA white guy talking all things NBA hoops from a hooper's perspective. And until the next video, homies, we'll catch you later.